3 degrees. It can be the difference between snow and sleet, wearing a jacket or not. In your day-to-day life, it may not seem significant, but 3 degrees of global warming would be catastrophic.
The heavens open up, unveiling the Western Ghats. This is one of the world's biggest biodiversity hotspots. Kerala is a verdant land full of streams, lakes, rivers, mountains, forests, rich in biodiversity and home to many unique plants and animals. The beautiful Western Ghats are spread over 129,037 square kilometers. These mountainous forests are home to highly endangered creatures such as tigers, Nilgiri taurs, lion-tailed macaws, and elephants. They are also crucial in bringing the bounty of the summer monsoon to India. Every year, these mountains act as a key barrier to the rain-laden winds from the southwest. And they abound with rivers, the importance of which has been studied for decades. Scientist Madhav Gadgil, who headed the Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel in 2011, studied this biodiversity hotspot and wanted all of it declared ecologically sensitive.
Western Ghats, of course, is perhaps the best studied biodiversity-rich regions of India. A lot of information is available, lot of enthusiastic trekkers climb Western Ghats here and there, and about its degradation, in a sense, public awareness has been relatively quite high.
But the landscape of the Western Ghats has been changing. Once pristine forests, these mountains are today under tremendous pressure from a growing human population, deforestation, unsustainable extraction of resources, and altered rainfall patterns. The new monsoon trend has had a devastating effect on the ecology, as Kerala witnessed in 2018 and 19. In 2018, more than 480 people died and 12 districts were badly affected in the floods that hit Kerala. The extreme rainfall in August 2018 in the catchments upstream of the three major reservoirs, Idukki, Kaki, and Periyar, produced a staggering effect, worsening the floods.
There has been global warming and it is having its impacts all over the world, not just on Western Ghats, all over the world. And one of the scientific results of studies is clearly that the frequency of extreme events such as very intense rainfall, that is beginning to go up.
Scientists say that the warning signs are all there, that the monsoon pattern is definitely changing.
Irregular monsoon has become the new norm for India. For regions like Kerala and Mumbai in the Western Ghats and parts of central India, the total monsoon is gradually decreasing over a period of time, while the frequency and magnitude of extreme rain events are going up. So this is going to become a new norm for the future as well, where you have more dry periods or droughts intermittent with extreme rainfall events. So what you see over mainland India or Western Ghats region is that with increased Arabian Sea temperatures, you have the fluctuating monsoon winds carrying more moisture from the Arabian Sea and dumping it over India and the Western Ghats within a few hours or a few days' time. So for India, the total rainfall which we received during the monsoon season is showing a gradual decrease. You can see with this grey line, there is a gradual decrease in total monsoon rainfall which we received during June to September. So that decrease is evident during 1950 to 2018. While at the same time, if you look at the number of extreme rain events, this red line, you can see that there is a steady increase in the number of extreme rainfall events over India.
Heat waves, droughts, extreme precipitation, even fire. 3 degrees of warming is really disastrous.
The scary thing is, the world is well on its way there. Since the Industrial Revolution, the Earth has warmed between 1.1 and 1.3 degrees Celsius.
This is a problem that babies you pass in the street will have to live with.
Children born today are up to 7 times more likely to face extreme weather than their grandparents. If global temperatures do rise by 3 degrees, what would their world look like? Global sea levels could have climbed by half a meter from 2005 levels. Low-lying cities like Lagos would be especially vulnerable, with up to 1/3 of the population displaced. And in Fiji, rising waters are already upending lives.
You can see the graveyard there. It's all underwater now due to this rising sea level and climate change.
The village of Toguru in Fiji is being swallowed by the sea. Barney Dunn, the village headman, has seen over half the village disappear. Relatives' houses have been abandoned and family graves are now underwater.
We've been asked by the government to relocate, but no one wants to relocate because we have our great-great-grandparents down there in the sea. This is the place we've been brought up in. It's not easy to live.
Past attempts to build a seawall haven't worked, but Barney sees building a new one as the village's only hope.
If they do that, maybe we can save whatever is left. But if we don't have the seawall, then it will keep eroding, and time will come, maybe in 10-15 years, Toguru will be all eroded.
Rising seas also mean storms cause more floods, and many more countries could suffer. The Philippines and Myanmar are just 2 countries that will also see an increase in storm surges in a 3-degree world. To escape, many will move, often to urban areas. Half the world's population already lives in cities, almost 1/3 in slums. For them, a 3-degree world could be deadly. Minara has moved to Dhaka to escape the impact of climate change. But life could get even worse for her. Dhaka is getting hotter. In the last 20 years, the average daytime temperature has crept up by nearly half a degree. Days that approach 40 are now being reported. And high so-called wet bulb temperatures are on the rise. A wet bulb temperature is a measure of heat and humidity. Humans cool themselves by sweating, but in these conditions, when relative humidity is near 100%, sweat doesn't evaporate well, so people can't cool down, even if given unlimited shade and water.
At a high wet bulb temperature, the body can't lose heat, and so it gets hotter and hotter. And the body is designed to work at a given temperature, and if it gets too hot inside, you will die.
The human limit for wet bulb temperatures is 35 degrees Celsius, around skin temperature. Dhaka will have a much higher chance of reaching dangerous wet bulb temperatures if global warming reaches 3 degrees.
You can't really adapt to that. You have to get out. If the temperature is so high that you can't work, can't do hard manual labor outside for significant parts of the year, then many places will become functionally no longer part of the economy.
Jacobabad in Pakistan and Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates have already recorded deadly wet bulb temperatures. More of the tropics and the Persian Gulf, as well as parts of Mexico and the southeastern United States, could all get to this threshold by the end of the century. Climate modeling might show us the weather, but it doesn't show us its other effects on society. Established migration patterns could change. Climate disasters may exacerbate reasons people cross borders. Within countries, more people will move to cities. In a 3-degree world, tens of millions of people a year could be displaced by disasters made worse by climate change.
When people are displaced by climate, they may well go to cities because cities are the places that attract people from the countryside already. A lot of people who can get to the developed world, not least because the developed world tends to be less hot, will give that a go.
As migration around the world increases, there could be more competition for fewer resources. Water, already a highly contested resource, will be a focal point. Turkey's new Ilısu Dam has reduced the flow of water into Iraq. China lays claim to rivers vital to India and Pakistan.
The prospect of a water conflict makes people very uneasy.
China, by God, made in China!
How national tensions would exacerbate those sorts of reactions in a 3-degree world is the sort of thing that no one should really want to find out. I think you'd have to be incredibly sanguine not to think that the sort of climate extremes that we talk about in a 3-degree world wouldn't lead some places to the brink of societal collapse.
Those lucky enough to escape unrest would still have to adapt to a radically different world.
People can adapt to climate change in all sorts of ways. One of the most obvious ones is air conditioning. But other ways to adapt at a local or regional level, I mean, one of the most obvious is diversifying agriculture. There are physical things you can do, like seawalls. The fact that people can adapt and that adaptation will reduce suffering doesn't mean that it will eliminate suffering. Suffering is built into this whole process of heating up the planet.
Adaptation will only get the world so far.
The best way to deal with a 3-degree world is not to go to a 3-degree world. And that's why increasing efforts on mitigation are important. It's why working towards negative emissions that could bring down the temperature after it peaks are important. Once you get to a 3-degree world, you are in real, bad, global trouble.
The scale of change needed and the slow progress of governments so far means 3 degrees of warming is uncomfortably likely unless more is done. Despite existing pledges, greenhouse gas emissions are still set to rise by 16% from 2010 levels by 2030. The need to act has never been clearer. There's still time to reduce emissions so that a 3-degree world remains fiction rather than becoming fact.